Even the wealthy will make mistakes when they don't have a guide by their side.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We are honored to have come alongside you for over 35 years, not only helping you buy, sell, and invest in real estate over 3,117 times, coming alongside you to build your fund, build your finances, build your faith, build your fitness, even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside relationship. And building wealth wisely through real estate continues to be a cornerstone, a foundational truth that came out of the wealth formula and lived experience. And now we're doing this amazing thing called the Wealth Formula Expanded. And it's an 8-week series or an 8-week journey, really.
Yeah. And the guide's so important. And throughout the book, Zane is their guide, a mysterious guide that shows up when they're ready for him for the next lesson, so to speak.
Yeah, I love actually in the book that even when they go hunting for him, if they haven't applied the principle that he taught them the time before, he can't find them. They can't find him. He could find them if he wanted to, but he won't.
He won't show up.
Because he won't show up until they've taken that guidance. So I think in segment A, we talked about the wake-up call and the whole idea that if we have a wake-up call, recognizing that normal isn't good enough, normal is accumulating debt in our current society, and statistics prove it again and again and again, that is typical and normal. Right? It's not necessarily best, but it's typical and normal. And then we move through where we realize that someone's going to make great interest, and it might as well be us rather than the financial banks or the financial institutions, right? When we support them. And then eventually we're going to get to the point where if we do it on our own and we're not applying the action, we're in trouble. Even if we...
Yeah. There's been a number of people that have read the wealth formula, gone out and gotten somebody to help them buy an investment property or whatever, and made errors and mistakes because their guide wasn't familiar with what the formula was. Okay. So it's really important that the guide that you choose has been down the road before, has had successes, maybe had some losses and learned from them, and will help guide you away from those pitfalls. Right. So important.
Oh, probably I'm almost in like shock and almost like in a tearful state, because as I think of some of the people we've met, because we've met them after the fact, it breaks my heart. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's, we want to avoid that for you because a costly mistake, and nobody had evil intent. Nobody was out to get anybody. Nobody was out to help somebody make a bad decision. And you got to have a guide that you can trust. I mean, we gained some pretty good guides that we trusted along the journey. And a few times we thought we could go it alone because we were smarter than the guides. And in cases we ditched the guide.
Yeah, I was running numbers on a financial property. I didn't tell you this, but just the other day for a client. And it turned out that the building at the asking price was like $5,000 a month negative cash flow. And whether the agent did it sneakily or not, I'm not sure. But the point is, all the expenses said plus HST. So they weren't true expenses, because when you have a multi-unit and you're not receiving any HST income, the HST that you pay out on expenses, you can't reclaim that. It's gone. So when I added that, that's an extra 13% on a 24-unit apartment building. There's a lot of expenses in a building that size. And that threw the numbers out significantly. And that might get missed by somebody that doesn't fully understand real estate and the wealth building journey.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
No, it's sad.
Well, it's cool that I was able to protect them from that.
Yes.
And then because they had said this building looks great. And when I showed them the numbers, they go, "Ooh, we're not interested in that anymore."
You want to have a guide that actually can disseminate the information, not for their own gain, because it would be easy, and not that you could do it, but it would be easy to sell, for many people, to sell a property because somebody wants it.
Yeah.
They want it. Why can't they have it? Well, because they least
can,
need to go
ultimately.
in ultimately, but they need to go in with their eyes wide open.
Mhm.
I mean, I was out with a client 2 days ago, and there were factors that it was a single family. It was a single woman buying her own home.
Mhm.
It was an investment property. Regardless, there were things that look good on paper, but when we got in, didn't look so good inside the property. And she says, the reason we call you every time, our whole family, every move we've ever had, is because we know you're going to tell us even the stuff we don't necessarily want to hear, because by knowing what's there, we can make a decision that helps us.
Yeah. There was a recent survey in 2025.
Yep.
81% of Canadians who receive professional financial help or guidance
Yeah.
report greater peace of mind.
Mhm.
And interesting, 64% of them said
Mhm.
that advice helped them avoid major financial mistakes.
Wow. And reading the Wealth Formula is a great place to start. So we've been proposing that if you haven't already read it, you ought to get yourself a copy. And you can get it on Amazon.ca, or you can get it at our office, and then it's a little less expensive for the print copy, and Ken will even sign it. If you journey along with us, some of the things we're talking about will make even more sense.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a fun story. It's not a dry financial book. Zane is a wise guide, and the other people that really help Sarah and David are her parents.
Mhm.
And at first, she didn't necessarily apply all the principles, because sometimes it's hard to receive that which you get from home,
Yeah, sometimes it is.
right? And then in the book, she actually says to her husband, David, without my mom and dad and without Zane, we wouldn't be getting it on track now.
Mhm.
We wouldn't be able to move forward in a way that will help us not only today, but moving forward into the future.
Yeah, and sometimes, it takes a knock at the door, a hard knock at the door. Like when we were running and we were the normal, we were broke and we were, paying the high interest on our credit cards, but we were making our payments and we were, just getting by. And then we started reading and learning. But when it really hit me that we were going to change, and to me, that was when my dad died. And we went there to help his widow do some of the estate stuff. And he had virtually no resources, no money, not enough insurance. And he basically died broke.
Yeah, and
Right?
we even paid for the funeral and all that because there was no money.
Mm-hmm. And that was a wake-up call for me. And I said, you know what? My kids are not going to deal with that mess. I'm not going to leave that mess. And so we started getting professionals to help us with our investing and understanding. And we read and we learned and we went to courses and all kinds of things because it became important. Maybe this show is your wake-up call. Maybe it's going to be something else down the road. Maybe you woke up 5 years ago or 10 years ago and you're flying along in the right direction. Maybe we can help accelerate that. We don't know unless we talk with you. So great thing would be to book a clarity call at deckerteam.com. And that's going to be a really, really worthwhile thing. And good guidance turns pressure into progress. And we're thankful that you joined us on Life's Inside Track, because when we move forward together, we've got this.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward